Welcome to the History in Focus channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. The construction of the secret base in Greenland began in 1959, beneath the ice. In the photo, workers install supports for the underground tunnels that would house advanced facilities. Designed to withstand the extreme environment, the base was an ambitious project by the Americans. In this image, the main entrance of Camp Century, once the portal to the U.S. secret base, is now buried under 98 feet of accumulated snow and ice. What was once a symbol of technological ambition is now a silent threat beneath the Arctic ice. Camp Century, almost a nuclear-powered city built beneath the 1960s ice, was a feat of innovation and boldness. Scientists and engineers overcame the impossible, creating a self-sustaining space under extreme conditions. However, the project underestimated nature's power, revealing the complexity of dealing with nuclear energy and extreme environments. In Camp Century, bases were established in the ice to study crucial dynamics of the frozen layers. Researchers highlighted that understanding the ice thickness was essential to predict how it would respond to the rapid warming of oceans and the atmosphere. This was vital to design sea level rise projections and understand the impacts on frozen regions. Inside the ice, the access tunnel to Camp Century, 1,312 feet long, was the heart of the secret base built on that island. From it, more than 12 trenches, each 492 feet long, spread out like an interconnected network. This complex structure, hidden under layers of ice, witnessed the height of the Cold War and now faces the threat of global melting. Donald Trump Jr., during his visit to Greenland, did not miss the opportunity to take a selfie with a local resident, as if preparing for a commercial. His arrival in the capital, Nuuk, in 2019, and the photo, curiously, drew more attention than any political deal. It seems the Trump family's interest in the island could indeed be a mix of business and geopolitics. He even posted a video on his social media with his father's slogan, specially modified for this occasion: "Make Greenland great again," adding a humorous touch to the famous catchphrase. Greenland, with its vast reserves of minerals like rare earths, uranium, and gold, has become a point of interest for major global powers. These mineral riches are essential for advanced technologies, from batteries to defense systems. The race for resources in the Arctic places the island at the center of strategic disputes in our current geopolitical landscape, with countries competing to exploit its economic and geopolitical potential. Donald Trump highlighted Greenland as a key piece for U.S. defense, claiming its strategic importance for being on the shortest route between North America and Europe. He asserts that since the 1950s, American air bases have operated in the region, but the interest goes beyond that. The island is rich in valuable minerals like gold, uranium, and rare earth metals, vital for modern technologies. The idea of buying Greenland gained the spotlight in recent weeks, reinforcing its geopolitical weight. In a move that sparked global curiosity, Donald Trump's son visited Greenland, claiming to be there to talk to the people. The trip reignited discussions about Trump's interest in the island, famous for its strategic location and vast mineral wealth. The visit was seen as an attempt to explore the possibilities of collaboration or even influence the region's geopolitics. Greenland's Prime Minister, Mute Egede, reaffirmed the commitment to the island's full independence, while statements from the elected U.S. Vice President about buying Greenland reignited global tensions. During the inauguration of the new European Commission office in Nuuk, Egede emphasized the territory's sovereignty. Meanwhile, Denmark responded by increasing military patrols. This was the open lid of Camp Century's nuclear reactor, symbolizing the technological ambition of the U.S. in the Arctic. This reactor provided power and heat to the underground base, marking a milestone in nuclear engineering under extreme conditions. In this image, a crane carefully positions a nuclear waste tank at Camp Century. Part of the base's operations in the 1960s, these tanks stored waste generated by the nuclear reactor powering the facility. With the abandonment of the site, These wastes remain buried beneath the ice, raising concerns about the environmental impact as Greenland's thaw progresses. Over the years, Greenland has become a point of dispute between military powers, especially during the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union established bases in the Arctic to monitor the region, while neighboring countries like Canada and Denmark also fought for sovereignty. The frozen territory, with its natural riches and strategic location, became a military tension field long before recent events. During World War II, in 1942, a U.S. Lockheed P-38 Lightning aircraft had to make an emergency landing in Greenland. The crew was rescued, but the plane, left behind, was lost over time, covered by ice and forgotten. Decades later, in 1992, an expedition finally located the plane, buried 268 feet under ice, accumulated over 50 years. After being rediscovered, the P-38 was restored and took to the skies again, surprisingly regaining its operational condition after half a century hidden beneath Greenland's ice. Kogo, an expert in climate and geopolitics, observed that the U.S. government views climate change as a strategic opportunity. According to him, the melting ice in Greenland could benefit American military operations in the region, easing access to bases, making the climate milder, and thus providing better conditions for operations. For comparison, in 1867, the United States bought Alaska from Russia for only $7.2 million, equivalent to 2 cents per acre. This payment, made via a registered check, not only secured the U.S. East's northernmost territory, but also opened the door for strategic exploration and natural resources that would become vital in the following years, especially in the Arctic. Did you know that the idea of the United States acquiring Greenland dates back to 1868? Then Secretary of State William H. Seward commissioned a report to evaluate the viability of buying the island. Known for acquiring Alaska, Seward believed Greenland could also be a strategic piece. Although the idea didn't advance, it laid the foundation for American interest in the Arctic that persists to this day. In this photograph, U.S. President Harry Truman made a statement emphasizing the country's strategic interest in Greenland during the Cold War in mid-1946. His government was already negotiating secretly for the use of the island for military purposes, including the installation of air bases and radars, with the potential to even acquire the territory. At the height of the Cold War, the Iceworm Project represented one of the boldest and most fearsome plans by the United States, hiding intercontinental ballistic missiles beneath Greenland's ice. Capable of reaching targets 3,400 miles away and causing mass destruction, these missiles, named Iceworm, were silent weapons prepared for a world on the brink of nuclear collapse. The ice, which seemed eternal, hid a frozen and deadly secret. In this image, Colonel Walter H. Parsons and other visitors climbed through an escape hatch in June 1959 to access Camp Century, a military and scientific base in Greenland's ice. Designed by the U.S. Army, the facility hid strategic ambitions amidst scientific research. A crane carefully positions a hatch in a trench at Camp Century, Greenland, part of the ambitious Iceworm Project. These trenches would house Iceman missiles designed to withstand the pressure of launching through the ice. However, the project was abandoned, leaving behind a frozen legacy of the Cold War, whose traces still dot Greenland's vast and frozen landscape. Did you also know that in 1946, the United States offered $100 million to Denmark for Greenland? Then Secretary of State James Burns presented the proposal, also considering the island a strategic piece in the Cold War scenario. Despite the impressive sum, Denmark rejected the offer, keeping Greenland under its control. This map, published in the January 27, 1947 edition of Time, clearly illustrates the growing interest of the United States in Greenland as early as the 1940s. By highlighting the island's strategic location, the map reveals how its position in the Arctic made it vital for controlling air and sea routes, as well as serving as a staging point for the U.S. during the Cold War. Even at that time, Greenland was seen as a crucial territory for strengthening U.S. security and influence in the Northern Hemisphere. Camp Century was about 124 miles from Greenland's northwest coast, strategically hidden under thick, dense ice. This isolated and remote location was purposely chosen to maintain absolute secrecy about American operations on the large island. Giants of the ice. Supplies for Camp Century were transported by snow trains, enormous vehicles equipped with colossal wheels capable of facing Greenland's hostile terrain. These innovative transports carved through the ice, ensuring that essential materials reached the secret base in one of the planet's most inhospitable regions. The trenches of Camp Century were dug with heavy equipment, like the one in the image. Robust machines cut through the thick ice, creating tunnels that would house the secret base. Did you know that a Nazi meteorological base was discovered in the Arctic? Built to predict weather conditions and plan strategic attacks, this base was crucial during World War II. Surprisingly, documents and items like kitchen utensils and personal belongings were found on site, even after attempts to erase traces. These remnants still reveal intriguing fragments about the German presence in the region. In addition to the recovered items, Nazi inscriptions were discovered in remote locations, like this impressive image. Even after decades, these marks still bring up secrets of a past that many tried to erase. In 1929, a map from 1513 created by Peary Rice was found, showing the region without ice. The curious thing is that this would have been impossible at the time, since the area had been covered by ice for millennia. How was it mapped? Some believe that an advanced civilization, long before ours, may have had lost knowledge of Earth. What else did these ancient people know? There are fascinating theories about the possibility of a lost civilization beneath Antarctica's ice. Some believe this advanced civilization may have been able to build structures and develop technologies far beyond what was thought possible for the time. The South Pole is not simply over the frozen sea, but is located atop a dense layer of land covered by about 3 kilometers of ice. That is, between the ice surface and the land that supports the continent, there is an impressive distance of 3 kilometers. This gives an idea of the immensity and complexity of the Antarctic continent, almost completely hidden under this thick ice layer. Now imagine, beneath all this ice, there is an almost completely unexplored world. What could be buried there, preserved for millennia? Over time, the ice has covered and hidden secrets, from small details of ancient fauna and flora to possible remnants of civilizations or even unknown geological formations. What will the future reveal to us when we explore this mysterious frozen world? Beneath the vast ice sheet, Russian scientists reported a disturbing encounter with an unknown creature, the organism 46b. This strange, frozen, and extremely dangerous marine life form possesses a paralyzing venom, making it even more enigmatic. What else could be buried in the frozen depths, waiting for the moment to be uncovered? The mystery seems to persist to this day. The Iceworm Project, an ambitious Cold War plan, aimed to construct thousands of miles of tunnels beneath Greenland's ice. In addition to Camp Century's facilities, 2,100 silos were planned for 600 nuclear missiles, with missiles moved by wagons to prevent precise location targeting. With up to 11,000 soldiers anticipated, the strategy was to ensure retaliation even after a nuclear attack, keeping the arsenal in constant motion and camouflaged beneath the thick ice. Inside Camp Century, the secret base, thermal drilling equipment, was used to extract samples from the ice core. These samples revealed secrets of the Earth's past climate in a place that combined science and military strategies. In this image, beneath the thick ice of Greenland, in 1959, Camp Century was born as a secret U.S. project, hiding tunnels under 26 feet of ice. In addition to scientific research, the base stored part of the great nuclear ambitions of the Cold War. Today, global warming threatens to expose dangerous waste from that base, which had remained secret until now. In the late 1950s, it became evident that Greenland had become key for the United States' strategic plans. In addition to serving as a radar station and refueling point, it housed the Camp Century project. In 1959, under the guise of scientific research, the military explored the site for a secret nuclear project, symbolizing the fusion of technological advancements and Cold War tensions. Few know, but Greenland is an autonomous region belonging to the Kingdom of Denmark. With its own flag and parliament, the island preserves a unique identity, marked by Inuit traditions and modern political institutions. In the image, residents proudly wear traditional clothing, celebrating their rich cultural heritage. Although autonomous, it has the Queen Margrethe II of Denmark as its head of state. However, it also has a Greenlandic prime minister who leads local political decisions. A fascinating curiosity is that Greenland was explored by the Vikings in the distant year of 980 AD. Coming from Iceland, they established the first settlements on the island's southwest coast. These Nordic pioneers faced the ice and isolation, leaving historical marks that still echo in Greenland's frozen landscapes. Sled dogs are still essential for hunters in Greenland during the harsh winters. This ancient method of transportation connected Greenlanders to their rich cultural heritage while helping them navigate the icy landscapes. Beneath Greenland's ice, the base was designed as a subterranean nuclear city. Built in just 17 months, engineers dug 21 trenches, including Main Street, over 984 feet long. Capable of housing 200 people, the site had dormitories, a hospital, a library, a barber shop, a kitchen, and even plumbing, offering a complete infrastructure for long stays in the heart of the Arctic. Donald Trump, in his 2024 proposals, revived territorial expansion ideas that included Greenland, Canada, and even the Panama Canal Zone as part of a vision for expanded United States. Though fanciful, these proposals reflect strategic and economic interests in the Arctic region and vital trade routes. Greenland, in particular, stands out as a recurring target due to its natural resources and strategic location. NASA revealed new images of Camp Century, the city under the ice, now buried more than 98 feet beneath Greenland's ice sheet. Abandoned in 1967, the military base was mapped with advanced technology, revealing its original network of parallel tunnels. Scientists are studying the depth and possible future melting, which could expose chemical, biological, and radioactive waste. An expedition revealed that the secret Cold War base, buried under Greenland's ice, contains about 9.2 thousand tons of scrap and waste oils. Additionally, scientists are concerned about the radioactive waste left by the nuclear reactor. Climate change is putting military facilities at risk, especially in places like Greenland, where Cold War secret bases were buried under layers of ice. The rising temperatures are accelerating the thaw, revealing the old structures of these secret settlements. During the Cold War, a secret U.S. military base was built in Greenland and covered by a thick layer of ice. Over time, it was abandoned, and now, as the ice melts, it is gradually emerging to the surface, possibly even falling into the sea, according to a report from Danish scientists. In 2020, the United States opened a consulate in Greenland after more than 60 years, signaling interest in the region. The move reflected growing attention to the Arctic due to its strategic importance and abundant natural resources. The small house in the photo represents a significant diplomatic move in a territory coveted for its unique geopolitical position. Nuuk, the capital of Greenland, is the northernmost city in the world, surpassing Reykjavik by a few miles. This strategic location attracted the interest of the United States, especially due to the vast mineral reserves and the geopolitical potential of the region. Greenland is a paradise for observing the northern lights, with dark nights and minimal interference from artificial light. Some places have more than 300 days of clear skies per year, with the lights dancing intensely on the horizon, creating unique spectacles. In Greenland, where about 56,000 people live, football is played on fields surrounded by stunning landscapes with icebergs in the background. This unique setting reflects life in one of the most remote places on Earth. M29. Weasel vehicles are unloaded from a sled at Camp Century, Greenland, in June 1959. Designed to operate on icy terrain, these vehicles were essential for constructing the base, which consisted of a network of trenches reinforced with corrugated steel. A crane carefully positions pig iron in a trench at Camp Century in 1959. These trenches were part of the futuristic base built beneath Greenland's ice, designed to withstand the extreme environment while serving military and scientific ambitions. The engineering of the site was as impressive as the secrets it concealed. In this image, the legendary journalist Walter Cronkite from CBS News visits Camp Century in the heart of Greenland's ice sheet in 1961. This trip was part of a documentary that revealed to the public one of the most secret bases of the time. Cronkite's presence helped shed light on the complexity and ambition of the project, highlighting the challenges and achievements of operating in one of the planet's most extreme locations. The U.S. Army and Captain Daniel F. Byrne conducted a Catholic Mass at Camp Century, Greenland. In the background, an M29 Weasel vehicle appears near structures made of trenches reinforced with corrugated steel. The camp, initially presented as a scientific base, revealed itself as a facade for American projects. In this image, members of the U.S. Army's Polar Research Center were setting up communication systems in a temporary camp during the construction of Camp Century in June 1959 in Greenland. On the right, an M29 Weasel vehicle helps with operations. While the base was presented as scientific, it was part of the Iceworm Project, a secret plan for nuclear missile silos. A fascinating curiosity about Greenland is that there are more boats than cars in the place, as the sea connects the small settlements scattered across the vast frozen expanse, in addition to the remote access to that region. This image shows how the Arctic is facing the consequences of global warming, with Greenland's ice melting more and more quickly. In the image, a floe cuts through the ice sheet, representing a process that could release waste left behind by the Camp Century project and its nuclear involvement. In this image, Kangerlussuaq, Greenland's only city outside the coast, is located 100 miles from the shore. Known for its proximity to the ice sheet, it holds one of the country's greatest natural riches, vast deposits of rare minerals, in addition to being one of the best places to observe the northern lights, attracting scientists and adventurers to its unique landscape. In Greenland, the legendary Arctic Circle Race takes place, a competition that challenges even the most experienced cross-country skiers. Over 3 days and 100 miles of pure effort, participants face temperatures below -4 degrees Fahrenheit, camping on the ice and cooking their own meals. Known as the most difficult ski race in the world, it transforms the Arctic into a stage of courage and endurance. Despite being the largest island in the world, Greenland has no roads or railways connecting its cities. Urban roads end on the outskirts, leaving internal travel dependent on planes, boats, helicopters, snowmobiles, or dog-drawn sleds. This peculiarity makes every journey a unique one, full of challenges. Donald Trump caused controversy by suggesting the purchase of Greenland, emphasizing its strategic importance for the U.S. Nuuk, the island's capital, symbolizes a modern and autonomous Greenland since 2009, but still vital for American interests. Some suggest that, instead of buying it, a long-term agreement could benefit both parties. This image shows one of the many research stations located on Greenland's ice sheet, used by scientists to monitor the movement and elevation of the surface. These stations helped gather critical data that informed future projections for the Arctic and the world. In 2024, Robert C. O'Brien, then National Security Advisor to Donald Trump, suggested a bold proposal to merge Alaska and Greenland under a single U.S. policy. On the map, the two regions are shaded in blue, representing a vast and strategic territory with access to the Arctic and valuable mineral resources. The idea of joining these lands to U.S. territory reflected a growing interest in expanding U.S. influence in the region, particularly regarding natural resources and security. Private Dike Lefebvre takes measurements to establish the permanent camp at Camp Century, Greenland. Equipped to face the extreme Arctic conditions, he uses topographical instruments to plan the base's layout. Camp Century, conceived as a milestone in military and scientific innovation, housed strategic ambitions during the Cold War before being abandoned. An impressive runway built by U.S. Army engineers in Greenland, where the vastness of the mountains and the inhospitable terrain seem eternal. This effort was part of a strategy during World War II when Greenland became vital for controlling Atlantic routes. The construction took place in 1944 when the U.S. expanded its forceful presence in the region. Trump has always had a curious eye on Greenland, and in 2019 he even shared a photo of his golden tower over the island with the words, "I promise not to do this to Greenland." Maybe the locals breathed a sigh of relief. After all, what attracted him? Precious minerals, strategic location, and of course, the desire to put another Trump on the map. But the idea of buying it? Better leave that for a movie. In this image, the northeastern portal of Camp Century stands as the entrance to the secret base buried in Greenland's ice. In 1964, the United States left behind this innovative structure, abandoning a legacy of toxic waste. The increasing thaw now threatens to expose this frozen secret. In 2016, a surprising discovery shook the scientific community. Ruins located 1.4 miles beneath the ice were identified. Archaeologists believe these structures may be the remnants of a lost civilization covered by ice over the centuries. An archaeologist stated that the images clearly show that these shapes were built by human engineering, and that these ruins are just a small part of a submerged city, waiting to be fully revealed. What else could emerge from the deep ice sheet? In this image, members of the U.S. Army's Polar Research Center worked on connecting side trenches to the main one during Camp Century's construction in Greenland in June 1959. On the right, a M29 Weasel vehicle assists with operations. Although the base was presented as scientific, it was part of the Iceworm Project, a secret plan to install nuclear missile silos under the ice. The heart of Camp Century was an impressive PM2 nuclear reactor, the first of its kind, custom designed. Powered by just 44 pounds of uranium, the reactor supplied the entire underground city, providing electricity and hot water for its 200 residents. With an energy capacity equivalent to 1 million gallons of diesel, the reactor represented the United States' nuclear ambition during the Cold War.